Dinay naman yan na sa kanya officially, on record. May I ask the representative of the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster na Pilipinas? Did I hear you right that Mr. Celis is not a member of the kapisanan?
It's not accredited. It's not an accredited broadcaster.
What's the difference between the two?
The member is Suarasug Media Corporation, Your Honor. The
So-
members of KBB consist of networks.
Okay, so he is not accredited as an official member of the kapisanan ng mga broadcasters na Pilipinas. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor, that's the way of putting it.
Yes. And did I hear it also right na ang membro ay yung network?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And therefore, if the network is a member of the kapisanan, it is bound to follow your code of conduct or code of ethics?
That's correct, Your Honor.
There. Now, and therefore, if we follow your logic, if the network is bound by the code of ethics or code of conduct of the kapisanan ng broadcaster ng Pilipinas, then they should abide with the provisions of the code of conduct. Tama po?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Now, after hearing all the discussions, the questions and answers this afternoon, would you say that they have followed the provisions of your code of conduct?
Your Honor, I beg your indulgence, but in the context of what has been presented and of which I am informed this hearing, the network is lacking in observance of the code of conduct, Your Honor.
We go to section 3, fairness and objectivity of your code. It says in paragraph 3A, news reports shall be fair, factual, and objective. I refer to the term factual. May I know your definition of what factual is?
Your Honor, is the question addressed to me?
Yeah.
The
You're
factual
still the
means-
one being asked. Floor,
Thank you, Your Honor.
KBB.
Factual means to say it is based on verified facts and information, incidents and information, data.
Could you please clarify the term unverified?
The unverified means to say that this information being given, the basis is not established.
Okay, thank you. Under section 4 of news sources, 4A, care must be taken in selecting news sources since the credibility of the news rests upon its sources. Tama po.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, under 4B, only news that can be attributed to a source shall be aired. When the source cannot be identified by name, the reason for this should be made clear in the news report. Did the anchors fulfill this?
Based on the discussions and the presentation this afternoon, the answer to that is no, Your Honor.
Yes. And section 5, there have been unconfirmed reports pertaining to unconfirmed reports. This has been extensively asked and clarified. Tama po.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, may I know what is the liability of the network for violating your code of conduct or code of ethics?
Your Honor, it can range from fine and suspension or expulsion from KBP, Your Honor.
And how is this initiated? And what would be the protocol?
The protocol would be for a complaint to be filed against the network for violation of the provisions of the Code of Ethics, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, are you aware of NTC Memorandum Circular number 01-03-2006?
I'm not familiar with the numbering, but I'm familiar with most NTC circulars, Your Honor. I'm not familiar with the number.
Yeah, the title of this is Program Standards for Radio and TV Broadcast and Cable TV Stations. This was issued by the National Telecommunications Commission, which you should know. And the pertinent provision na gusto kong malaman po ninyo is that wherefore pursuant to the powers vested upon the NTC for the reference and guidance of radio and television broadcasting stations and cable TV stations, and for the information of the general public, the NTC hereby adopts the existing program standards of KBP as set forth in the KBP radio and television codes and in other relevant KBP circulars, including those contained in KBP Circular 06-016, dated 27 February 2006, and hereby reiterates and adopts all the provisions of Memorandum Circular number 11-12-85. All broadcast media and cable TV entities must conform to the above mentioned guideline.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, and therefore, all broadcast and TV stations must adhere to your rules and regulations pursuant to this memorandum.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. And therefore, any complaint against the network can be filed for violation of this.
May make a clarification, Your Honor. In view of a Supreme Court decision, the Binagrasha case, the NTC has been, rather the rationale in the decision was that NTC has no authority over content in broadcast station. That the supervision of NTC is technical. So that as a consequence of such decision, complaints filed before the KBP and NTC are referred to the KBP.
But a complaint can be filed for violation of your code of conduct by any entity, shall we say, accredited by the Kapisanan ng Broadcasters ng Pilipinas.
Any
Thank
for
you.
violation of the code, Your Honor.
Thank you. May I go to Mr. Celis? Hindi
Yes,
ko
Your Honor.
napipilitin na i-reveal mo kung sino yung kwan mo informant mo. Kasi yung experience mo as a media practitioner and formerly with your organization, kailangan protektahan mo yung identity ng iyong mga informants. I will adhere to that.
Thank you, sir.
Pero ang tanong ko, hindi ba kailangan na pag nakatanggap ka ng impormasyon, even in confidence or even in public, if you have not verified the information or you have not vetted the information given you, it is incumbent on your part to see to it that you verify that before you report it to the public?
I agree. Congressman
No,
Nakon,
yes,
sir.
thank you for your answer. And did you do that? You stated those statements that expenses of our speaker here amounted to 1.8 billion. Did you conduct the necessary vetting process?
After only it was aired as a question, Your Honor, because I believe that I need to do the proper ethical conduct of a professional journalist by following up the source.
Sino po ba ang nag-air ng information sa public? Yung informant mo ba o ikaw?
It was I, Your Honor.
Oh, yun na nga ang tanong ko eh. Eh gusto mo na namang umiwas, hindi ka naman abogado eh. Kagaya ni Attorney Mark. Di ba? Huwag ka nang umiwas. Eh, alam ko naman yung kwan mo eh.
Noted po, Your Honor.
Yes. Therefore, you did not conduct the necessary vetting process kasi sa trabaho natin, sa intelligence, you verify yung source. Tama? Sabi mo kanina, unknown na source, at saka yung isang source, kilala mo. That was asked by the Honorable Suarez. Di ba?
Yes, sir.
Pero hindi ba sinasabi rin natin, and I think you know this, na you should also verify the information. Kaya alam mo rin yung A1, A2,
Yes, sir.
F6, F1, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The letters refer to the truthfulness of the information. Tama?
Correct, sir.
And the numbers would refer kung tama yung sinasabi na information sa iyo.
Agree, sir.
Yes. And I think you did not do that.
In that
Being
particular
a
instance,
responsible broadcaster, hindi ba bine-verify nyo muna yung facts bago nyo i-air sa public? Why? Kasi you might destroy the reputation of people.
I agree to that assertion of the Honorable Congressman Ako.
Thank you. Now, may I go to Attorney Soplico? Pwede ba ikaw sumagot nito?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Are you aware of Section 4 of Republic Act 11422?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And what is the title of that?
The
Section
title
4.
is Responsibility to the Public.
Now,
Honor.
responsibility to the public. Whose responsibility is it talking about?
Well, it talks about the grantees' responsibility, Your Honor.
Yes. And there is an enumeration under Section 4 of the responsibilities of the grantee, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, may I know, if I heard it right, SMNI does not have a separate personality
From
from the owner of the or the grantee.
Your Honor, the grantee is Suarasug.
Yan na nga.
The,
That's precisely my question.
Suarasug,
SMNI does not have a separate personality, right?
yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Why? Because it's not a corporation, as stated by Attorney Mark a while ago. Pero palagi niyong ginagamit yung term na SMNI. Ang sabi rin kanina, mahirap i-pronounce yung pangalan ng corporation. Yung nasagot kanina I have been listening intently a while ago. Now, in the enumeration of the responsibility to the public of the grantee, which is the
Suarasug,
Swarsum. Yes.
Your Honor.
Meron po kayong responsibility over and above the things being done in your station. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And therefore, nagulat ako kanina nung sinabi ni Attorney na just because of a disclaimer, mawawalan na ng responsibility yung grantee. When in fact, the law enumerates its responsibility to the public. Would you agree?
Your Honor, we explained earlier that
I'm not asking for an explanation. I'm asking for an answer, yes or no. Would you agree?
well, Your Honor, yes, Your Honor, there are enumerations here in Section 4, which pertains to the grantee's responsibility, Your Honor.
Yes. And would you agree with me also that if we follow these responsibilities enumerated by law, you have also a certain kind of degree. Kasi narinig ko sa ito, attorney, Rolex, meron degree of independence yung inyong mga anchor. Now, if they have a degree of independence, the network has also a degree of control over them. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, for any misdemeanor or any violation of law or any violation of the provision of your franchise, you will suffer the consequences.
Well,
Why? Because
to a certain degree,
you
yes,
are
Your Honor.
responsible.
Yes, Your Honor, to a certain degree. But let me point out, Your Honor.
I'm not asking for your explanation, Tony Rolex. I'm just asking for a yes or no.
Let me qualify my answer, Your Honor.
I'll give you that privilege, Mr. Chair. Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
view of
Your
the,
Honor, these are anchors. They exercise, as said earlier, a certain degree of independence from the grantee of the franchise, Suarasog. We cannot tell them what to say. We cannot tell them how to ask a question, when to ask the question, or even who to invite to the programs, Your Honor. Beforehand, they were told that they have to follow certain policies. And in fact, in their contract of service, Your Honor, there is stipulated here, refrain from performing any act or conduct that may tend to tarnish the good reputation of SSMC. That's Warasog, and put it in a bad light, or that may be prejudicial to SSMC's interest.
Mr. Chair, with your
So-
indulgence, Attorney Rolex, hindi naman po nila sinunod yung iyong kwan eh. Admonition eh. Now, if they did not follow your admonition, sino po ang responsable? Kasi yun ang gusto kong malaman eh. Kaninong responsibilidad?
Your Honor, we have started an internal investigation on this.
I'm not asking whether you have started an internal investigation or not. Nawawala ako sa thread of questioning ko pag ginaganon mo ako, Rolex eh.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
We're in the same league.
I know, Your Honor.
Yeah. So, gusto kong malaman na inaamin nyo kanina, may responsibilidad kayo. Di ba? Sabi mo, meron kayong sinabi sa kanila, but they did not follow it.
Well, Your Honor, mahirap kasi sabihan ang anchor kung anong ang kanyang itanong na question, kung kailan niya itanong, kung paano niya itanong. We cannot do that. In the same manner, kung may guest sila, hindi naman namin magsabihan kung sino ang kanilang iimbitahin. Kung ano ang itatanong niya doon sa guest nila. Mahirap eh.
I know it's hard, but that's your responsibility. It's embodied under Section 4 of your franchise law. Otherwise, we will move for the revocation of your franchise if you cannot follow it.
Your Honor, there are maybe degrees of our violation. Maybe I would admit that we may have.
I'm just following your logic, one. Rolex. Sige.
Well, Your Honor, as I said, we may touch on press freedom here. And I don't want to touch on that.
Pagtalo sa general principles. Pares naman tayo abogado eh.
I'm Your Honor.
Oo. Huwag na tayo magtalo doon. We know for a fact that press freedom is not absolute.
Yes, but
Would you
Your
agree
Honor,
with me?
Your Honor, but to
The
tell,
only thing absolute is the freedom to believe. You can kneel in front of post and worship it. That's your right. It's absolute.
but with due respect, Your Honor, to tell an anchor how to ask a question, when to ask a question, how to phrase a question, that is, to my mind, Your Honor, a violation of press freedom. The
That's-
anchor enjoys a certain degree, Your Honor.
You should not do that if you think it is a violation of press freedom. But that is your responsibility as a franchisee holder.
That's
that
why,
they should not violate the law.
That's why, Your Honor, we called your attention and we have started an internal investigation.
I do not want to debate already with my underclass in the Philippine Military Academy.
I'm sorry, Your
So,
Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, proceed.
thank you.
Are you done, Honorable Akop?
Thank you, Your Honor.
May bago ko dumating, kanina ho kasi, may katanungan lang no, dun sa on the ownership. Alam nyo ba na dito sa mga dokumentong ibang sinabi sa Kongreso na ang owner ay, kasi ho, ganito yan eh. Kanina tinanong kung sino ang executive pastor nyo. You gave a name. Pero meron doon kayong mga press release dito sa inyong website that nakalagay, the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. Andito po yun. So the question lang, and this was forwarded to me now. Can it be is also the executive pastor, but of course, everybody's addressed as pastor. Nobody's really addressed as executive pastor. Is that correct? Rolex or, di ba? Or Mr. the President himself.
Can I,
Diba? Pwede
can I
hong
answer, Your Honor?
pastor ang tawag, pero siya pong executive pastor.
Can I answer?
Kasi, unless, ito website nyo na po to, ha? Yes, attorney.
Actually, Mr. Chair, it was already amended, Mr. Chair. From Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy to Brother Marlon C. Abi Acobo, Mr. Chair.
No, no. I'm just talking of a, ano to? This is your website kasi.
Website, Mr. Chair. May I know the date of that website?
Ito po. Pwede niyo tingnan to.
May I know the name of the website, Mr. Chair?
Jesus Christ, the name above, the kingdom of Jesus Christ, the name above every name.
Maybe, Mr. Chair, it's not yet
Kingdom
updated.
Christ.
Maybe,
or-
Mr. Chair, it's not yet updated, Mr. Chair. Because as of 2022, Mr. Chair, December 19, 2022, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy transferred the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ to Brother Marlon B. Acobo, Mr. Chair.
Okay, my question now, what's that? Paano yun? Sa dokumento yan?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I have a document, Mr. Chair.
Andyan ho yan. Pero dito sa GIS nyo, hindi pa.
The GIS of the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the name above every name, the head, Mr. Chair, is already Marlon C. Acobo, Mr. Chair.
So what happened to Pastor Kibuloy? He has to. Kasi ako lang ho, I mean, was he demoted? Paano set up po niyan? From executive pastor, naging pastor. I mean, was there a lowering of rank? Di ba? Kaya naman po natin natanong kasi ho, we're just tinatehi-tehi lang natin. No? Kasi may question ho mamaya. Paano po yun?
I think, Your Honor, it was the decision of Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy
Two,
to transfer the leadership of the executive pastor
two.
to Marlon B. Acobo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Honorable Franz Castro is recognized. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, magpo-follow up lang ako, Mr. Chair, dun sa ownership nung SMNI. On your record kasi, 2020, nakalagay yung pangalang Apollo Kibuloy. Tama? Kibuloy as, as one of the stockholders. Tama po ba?
No, Mr. Chair. Our latest GIS, Mr. Chair.
No, 2020. I'm asking of that 2020. So sa 2020 ninyo na information report or GIS yan, andun yung pangalan ni Kibuloy as your stockholder. One of the stockholders.
There was
Tama.
already an amendment, Mr. Chair.
2020, I'm asking attorney of
I have no
2020
record
report.
of the 2020, Mr. Chair.
Well, have you submitted it? Kasi nakita lang namin sa report. Your submission in the report. So paano mo sasabihin ngayong attorney na wala kayong record ng 2020 and you have said you are regularly submitting your your report.
2020. No? So 2020. So 2020, Mr. Chair, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy was there,
Yeah, as a
But-
stockholder.
but
Tama.
amended already in 2020.
No, I'm not asking for the amendments. In 2020, Pastor Apollo Kibuloy is the stockholder, one of the stockholders, right? Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so And then after 2021, after 2020, that is 2021, 2022, and then up to present, wala na siya doon. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So nakalagay na lang doon, Executive Pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Tama?
The name above every name incorporated, Mr. Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair.
As a stockholder, ito yung Executive Pastor of the Kingdom, and you have named that to be Marlon Acobo,
Yes,
right?
Mr. Chair. 53.46%.
Nung 2020 po, magkano, how many percent yung share ni Pastor Quiboloy?
We will provide a copy, maybe, Mr. Chair, next meeting, Mr. Chair, because we have no record yet in our possession, Mr. Chair.
Ano 700?
750 ang ownership amount.
So, in your report kasi, Sir Chair, meron siyang amount na 750,000.
50,000.
So, si Kibiloy, tama po ba? Doon sa report na sinubmit.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so at ilang porsyento po yun ng buong stocks?
So our record is not, we are not in the possession of the record, Mr. Chair. Our record is only 2023 and 2022, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so may I
So
ask,
we cannot confirm that, Mr. Chair.
so Mr. Chair, may I ask the record of 2020 to be submitted here, the list of stockholders
Yes,
and
Mr. Chair.
their shares?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, etong si Marlon Acobo, have 53.56, 53.46% share, tama po?
No, it's not Marlon Acobo, but the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the name above every name, INC.
Well,
And
wait,
He is the
Mr. Chair. Sabi mo kanina, itong Marlon Acobo, you are referring it to executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Niname mo na yon. So, nakakalito kasi Attorney Mark. Yung sinasabi mo kasi niname mo na sino itong executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, Marlon Acobo. Ang share niya po ay 53.46.
But per GIS, the name, the owner of the 53.46 is the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, the name above every name.
Who is that?
So it's Marlon Acobo, Mr. Chair.
Yun na. Pinagloloko mo kami, attorney, ha? Wag ganyan. Mapipikon na ako. Okay, so yun na nga yun. So, individual po itong tinatawag ninyong executive pastor. Individual po ito.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Hindi siya organization.
It is a sole corporation sole, Mr. Chair.
Sole corporation, sabi mo kanina, individual. Sole corporation.
Because it is registered under SEC. The executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ is registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Is this a corporation of one?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Who is that person?
Marlon Acobo, Mr. Chair.
Yun.
Sole
Okay.
proprietor. Sole
No,
corporation.
No, it's
Corporation
SEC.
of one.
Ha?
Corporation sole.
Corporation.
Pero corporation of one. Isang tao lang.
Kaya nga, sole proprietor.
So it's not a sole proprietor.
Sa ano siya? Corporation of
Because
one.
corporation sole, it is registered under SEC. Sole proprietorship is registered under DTI. That's different.
Okay. O sige. At pag sinabi po natin sole corporation, isa lang.
One person.
Corporation of one.
Yes.
Ah,
There's only one stockholder, Mr. Chair.
okay. So yun. So how is he related to Pastor Kibuloy?
He is Brother Marlon Acobo is the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
As per what date?
As of 2022, December, And Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy is the pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Mr. Chair, maybe we can ask the submission of the
That
ano,
document.
mga
Yes, we will
documents na
submit
yun.
that.
And we'll
Thank
ask
you.
also, Mr. Chair, can we invite Marlon Acobo here in our next meeting, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, thank you po.
But he is in Dubai now, so can we ask for maybe 2 weeks or 1 week
Okay.
from now?
We take
Yeah.
note. Thank you.
Okay. Sige. You said at present, Kibuloy is the honorary chairman of SMNI, right? Kasi
Yes,
sinabi mo kanina.
yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So as an honorary chairman, ano po yung role niya sa SMNI?
It's just a symbolic, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Symbolic chairman.
So wala siyang
So no
control.
function,
No control.
no day-to-day decision of the corporation.
Okay. And sinabi mo rin kanina, Mr. Chair, that Kibuloy is a black timer din.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
In fact, I can present, Mr. Chair, right now, a receipt that the Kingdom of Jesus Christ is a black timer of SMNI.
So are you aware of the case that Pastor Kibuloy is in the ano? At in fact, he is considered as the FBI most wanted FBI for serious crimes. Are you aware? The SMNI? Are you aware po?
Per news, yes, I'm aware, but I have no personal knowledge.
Who has a personal knowledge?
I am not the lawyer of Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy with respect to that case.
So hindi mo alam yung kaso.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
How about President Marlon Rosette? Do you know the case of Pastor Kibuloy?
You can read it anywhere. You can read it in the news. Your Honor.
Hindi yan yung sagot na tinatanong ko. Do you know the case of, wag ako yung tanungin mo,
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Marlon Rosette.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ang tanong ko, are you aware of this case ni ni Kibuloy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. How about Attorney Rolex Silpit? Attorney Rolex. Hindi ko mabasa.
Well, Your Honor, I read about it.
Yes
but,
or no? Are you aware po? Yes or no?
Well, I read about it, so yes.
Okay.
But I'm not the
So,
lawyer
yun
then.
po.
I don't even know.
So hindi ko po tinatanong kung kayo po yung lawyer. Tinatanong ko lang po.
Okay.
So ito po yung fact, no? So the string of charges filed against them, including Kibuloy, by prosecutors in Los Angeles, California, include conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud and coercion, sex trafficking of children, marriage fraud, fraud and misuse of visas, bulk cash smuggling, promotional money laundering, concealment money laundering, and international promotional money laundering. So yun po yung case. Okay, na final sa kanya doon sa Los Angeles. So with this, Mr. Chair, maybe in the next meeting, I would like to, we would like to invite the DOJ and the DFA as regards dito sa case. Kasi alam natin ang SMNI, dati sinasabi nila ang major stockholder nito ay o dati rin stockholder ay si Kibuloy na may kinalaman din ito doon sa franchise or may kinalaman ito sa ownership, Mr. Chair. So can we invite the DOJ and the DFA so that we can know the status of the case? Okay.
So we will invite
Invite
you.
Pastor Kibuloy,
Thank you.
DOJ and DFA.
So, yes, we will do that. Thank you.
Okay. Kanina, Mr. Chair, sa SMNI pa rin, Mr. Celis mentioned that he discussed with SMNI's editorial board. So, ang ibig sabihin, sa anuman pong pinapakita nila or nilalabas nila dun sa program nila, ay alam po ito ng editorial board. Kasi sinabi kanina ni Mr. Celis na kinoconsult niya daw yung editorial board. Tama po ba yon? Sino po ba yung editorial board dito, Mr. Chair?
Wala po dito, Your Honor.
Kasi yun ang sinabi kanina ni Mr. Celis. Celis mentioned that he discussed with SMNI editorial board um, um, yung sinabi niya kanina no na information. So that implies alam ng SMNI yung content ng program. Tama po ba?
After po nung nangyari po.
After. Okay. Ay, after na rin nangyari, sa kinonsult yung editorial board.
Doon po namin nalaman kasi hindi nga po Your Honor makontrol kasi hindi namin masabihan kung anong itanong, anong sabihin kasi nasa live na po sila.
Hindi, ano yung sinasabi kanina ni Mr. Celis na nagko-consult siya? It is before the program or after po?
Actually, Mr. Chair, the board knows.
Well,
prior-
attorney, sandali lang po. Kasi we can go back to the video. Whatever you say now, the video was very clear. And my understanding was, nakuha niya yung source, pumunta siya sa board, tapos bumalik siya sa programa. So anyway, we will revisit na lang. Let's revisit the video kung ano sinagot ni Eric, okay? Okay, I will just revisit kasi if you deny it now, it was said already and she's quoting something that was said earlier. So we'll just revisit the video and that will be the basis for whatever decision we come up with. Thank you.
So, silinawin ko lang, Mr. Chair. So, wala kayong alam sa content ng programa nitong laban kasama ng bayan? Wala kayong alam?
Noong time na yun, Mr. Chair, wala kaming alam po.
Okay, thank you.
Ay, no, sa ibang mga time. Kasi 3 years yan na
Because,
nag-ere eh.
As a rule kasi po, we know the general content of the program, but there is no specific content.
Yes, you
because
know the
we-
general content.
Yes, yun lang po ang
Okay.
alam po namin.
Okay. So wala po kayong editorial board dyan na makakaalam. Reviewin na lang natin.
Sa ngayon po,
So ano po ba yung process ninyo? As a co-product, sabi mo kanina, Attorney Mark, itong programa na ito is a co-produced by the SMNI network
when say
itself.
when I say co-produce, Mr. Chair, with respect to the advertisements, 50% will go to the SMNI through Swara Sub Media Corporation, and 50% to the talents.
Okay. Aside
That's,
from
aside from the talent piece.
talent fee. Okay. So yun po pala ang ibig sabihin ng co-prod.
Yes, Mr. Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
So yung hatian doon sa mga advertisements.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So thank you for that clarification. Dito sa KBP po. Kanina malinaw na nasabi as attorney Mr. Chair. Kanina malinaw na nasabi po no na there is certain violation since they are not accredited broadcaster po ng KBP, yung dalawang anchor. Ano po saan po yung accountability mapupunta po? Since hindi sila under ninyo, di ba? So wala hindi nyo sila mape-penalize or whatever the sanction. So sino po yung accountability just in case na lumabag ulit dun sa inyong code, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, the party accountable for violation of the rule of allowing only accredited KBP members to go on the air is upon the network.
Okay. Have you initiated po yung So, meron po bang mga kaso na about the SMNI on the violation of code na nakasampa po sa KBP, Mr. Chair?
None, Your Honors.
So, wala pa. Okay. So sinasabi nyo kanina, Mr. Chair, ang KBP po parang it seems that meron na violation do sa code na ang accountable dito po ay yung network. So, are you planning to to investigate and to file whatever charge na related po dun sa inyong code?
Let me clarify, Mr. Chair. The violation is for allowing a non-accredited broadcaster to go on the air. That's the violation of the network.
Mm-mm.
The content is different. So.
Okay, so yun po.
Yes.
Will you initiate po yung investigation or maybe a case against the network for allowing non-accredited broadcaster?
Considering the information gathered during this hearing, Your Honors, I will report this to the Standards Authority of KBP.
Yes, thank you po. Nakalagay po kasi dito, Mr. Chair, doon sa Code of Broadcast Code of the Philippines 2007, and number 5B, section 5B, an unconfirmed report must be verified as soon as possible. If an unconfirmed report is found to be false, an announcement saying so must be made. So nakalagay po yun sa code. So ang meron pong responsibility and accountability dito ay yung network. Kasi hindi naman accredited yung mga broadcasters. Tama po.
As a rule, the content in any broadcast, as a rule, is the responsibility of the network.
Oo. So, yan, iniimbestigahan na nga po kung ano yung nangyari. Okay. Sige, isa pang tanong. Doon po sa may doon po sa, so in the matter of being broadcast, for example po, if a matter of being broadcast is a threat or death threat, halimbawa, ano po yung responsibility po doon ng network?
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry I could not trust the question ko. But if I in the context of the subject matter of this hearing, I believe you're referring to the alleged death threat made by
Yeah. So it's
PRRD.
included in the resolution, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, that's the responsibility of the guest.
The network.
The guest. There should be a distinction between a live broadcast and a recorded broadcast.
Mhm.
Mainly because in a live broadcast, you cannot stop the broadcast while it's being made. Whereas in a recorded broadcast, you have the opportunity to edit out the content before it is aired. So my understanding is the broadcast was live. And therefore, the network's responsibility is mitigated by that fact. We have had cases in the KBP where the content in question was a live broadcast. And because it is live, the responsibility of the network was mitigated. Without saying, of course, that the broadcaster is not responsible.
The network is responsible? Are you saying that?
No, no,
Mr.
the
Mr.
responsibility
Chair,
of the
is
network is mitigated by the fact that it is live,
Mhm.
as distinguished from a material which is recorded, where the network had the opportunity to edit out the content or the content before being aired.
Okay. So may I ask the opinion of Attorney Domingo of the MAD as regards to how about yung pong mga about red tagging, kasi alam ko po meron kayong mga kaso ng mga red tagging. So may I ask your opinion po about doon sa mga kaso niyo about red tagging?
Nakasala na po lahat yun. Naka-file na po lahat ng aming kaso on red tagging. Ibibigay ko po ng kopya ng ating mga complaints sa Madam Congressman. Karamihan po dito marami po dito kasama po yung ating kasamahan dito. At pumunta po kami rin sa Professional Regulations Commission. At pinapaalis namin ang lisensya nung nasa sakdal. Pero yung pinaka relevant po dito sa ating pinag-usapan ngayon, yung pong kaso namin against Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa sa NTC, no? At gusto naming paalisin din siya. Hindi pala, ngayon, nalaman po namin na hindi pala siya kasamang accredited ng broadcasters, no? So, hindi po namin alam kung pwede rin po namin bigyan siya ng accusation sa Broadcasters Code violation. But ang isa pang question natin dito, sila Kibuloy ba at saka si dating Presidente Duterte accredited din bang broadcaster?
Ayan, darating po ako dyan. Darating po ako dyan, attorney, yung tanong na yan.
Pero yung po lahat na tinanong niyo po, marami po ito, no? 4 po kanina nasabi ko at 5, pati kasama na po kay Atom Arroyo na aming na-file ng MAN, no? Against the 2 persons here in front of me. So yan pong pinaka-latest. Of course, yung great threat na complaint na kami rin ng humahawak, nakabinbin na po yan sa sa Fiscal's Office ng Quezon City. At sa December 4 po, magkakaroon po ng preliminary investigation at December 11. So
Okay.
continuing po itong aming advocacy at kami ay akbang kami at kami willing to help the congressional committees to be able to craft legislation in aid of legislation po itong ating hearing. We're willing to come up with our own position and we will provide the necessary papers for that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, attorney. Balik po ako sa KBP, as regards po doon sa live or recorded. Kasi sabi nyo, parang walang control po yung network kapag ito po ay live. Kung ito po ay in-upload sa mga Facebook, sa mga official Twitter or Facebook na network, kasi ang SMNI, meron silang Facebook, meron silang Twitter. Pero yung content na yon ng merong laman ng grave threat ay nandoon pa rin. Even if itong dalawang broadcaster na to o yung black timer na ito ay hindi naman sila, I mean, siyempre hindi sabi ng network, hindi nila control. Kung ito po ay yung threat na ito ay inakyat pa sa sa Facebook, in-upload pa. So ano po yung masasabi niyo doon, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, can I dissect the question if you allow me?
Yeah, okay.
One is the responsibility of a guest in a program. The guest is not a broadcaster. He's not under the authority of the KBP, nor the network. So the guest can be liable for such things as libel, threat, etc., but not in the context of the code of KBP. If the person who makes the threat is an anchor, then the responsibility is the anchor's responsibility and possibly the networks for allowing it if it were recorded. Now, in the case of uploaded content, as distinguished from live streaming content, uploaded content is considered recorded material. And therefore, it is upon the person uploading to edit it in order to conform to community standards or the law, as the case may be. In streaming, live streaming, the control is limited because as similar to a live broadcast, you have no control of what the person, particularly the guest, will answer. In the case of the alleged threat of the former president, the material is not content for which the network is responsible for, because that is what the anchor said. In fact, that is news as far as the network is concerned. As to the persons alluded to or against whom the threat was directed, that's a different matter. And that's between the guest for having aired the threat and the person being threatened.
So you are referring to the guest as the black timer. In the case of, yun nga, yung nasa isang resolution dito, in the case, in this resolution po, si President Duterte at saka si Kibuloy as black timer doon sa program na yon nagikan sa masa para sa masa. So walang responsibility ang network. Kung merong pagmumura, kung merong threat o merong mga obscene na mga words, wala pong responsibility dahil sinasabi niyo po, hindi sila accredited broadcaster, hindi rin sila anchor. So, ano na lang po, kahit na sino lang po, pwedeng may gawin na doon. Basta may mababayaran lang po nila ang yung network. Pwede na magmura. Pero yung sinasabi niyo yung code para sa mga broadcaster. So, ano naman po yung responsibility ng network doon? Doon sa mga black timer na mga nagmumura or nagsasalita ng hindi naman maganda or yun po Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I don't know in what capacity the former president was airing in the station. In the context of the discussion, since that is a co-produced program, I doubt if the president was even a black timer there. Because that's a different arrangement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, attorney. Tanong ko na lang sa SMNI. So, ano po yung laban, yung gikan sa masa para sa masa, ano po yan, black timer po ba yun? Or
Yes, Mr. Chair. It's a black
yes.
timer.
So, bumili sila ng oras.
Yes, Mr.
So,
Chair.
black timer po, attorney.
In a block time arrangement, basically the network, the block timer is the party responsible for the content. The network, however, can post immediately after the fact, deal with the matter of the broadcast of the block timer. And in fact, if it is in violation of the code, it can be a ground for terminating the block time arrangement.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Dun po nalinawan ako doon. How about MTRCB, Mr. Chair? So ano po ba yung role ng MTRCB? Kasi I know recently meron kayong sinuspend na isang show dahil sa mga lewd na or merong bastos na salita ba or whatever sa isang noontime show. So ano po ba yung responsibility ng MTRCB as regards to yung, di ba, meron kayong nakalagay doon for general public, for 13 and above, na ganon. So, yung pong naging programa, ito yung nasa resolution na kung saan pinagbantaan ako nung dating presidente, kasama si Kibuloy as black timers. May ginawa ba kayo dito, MTRCB? Ano yung ginawa nyo rito?
Just before MTRCB will answer, I just would like to be clear. Kanina sinabi nyo hindi kayo black timer. Ngayon black timer na kayo. Ano ba? Kasi talent yan eh. As a matter, you were sanctioning your talent.
Actually, Mr. Chair,
So
yung-
that could have been a black time. We asked that earlier. Why the change of your position?
no, Mr. Chair. Yung gikan sa masa, para sa masa, is a black timer. But yung laban kasama ng bayan is a co-prod. That's different programs, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So she was referring to a different
Yes.
Different program,
you.
Mr. Chair. MTRCB, ano po yung ginawa niyo po doon sa
Yeah.
sa program or ano ba yung ginawa niyo doon?
Your Honor. Yeah. We responded to the complaints and we called the parties over for to hear their side also for a hearing and to adjudicate on this matter. And we were
Mr. Chair, sinong pinatawag niyo sa hearing?
yeah.
If I may po, we immediately took action when we heard about.
Who's speaking? Sino po sila?
CB po,
Attorney Ana.
Attorney Ana po from MTR.
Okay, please. Right.
We immediately took action when we heard about that, Mr. Speaker. So we submitted submitted a notice to appear sa SMNI po for preliminary conference. And then just like what the KBPs po, since naka-live po siya, they said that in order po They explained po that the relevant episode of the program was aired live, as a result of which they had no control over the statements made by their guest of the program. So what we did po during the conference was that to prevent po the recurrence of the same, the network or SMNI decided to pre-record the succeeding episodes of the program, also to edit the same by deleting what it deems to be potentially offensive to the sensibilities of the public before it can be aired. Now, the recent issue po ngayon regarding the laban laban kasama ang bayan, we actually also sent out a notice of appeal to the network regarding this po, since it is under the mandate of the MTRCB based on PD 1986 po, to call them if there is an alleged violation under Section 3C of our PD po. If it found that those which tend or those to approve or disapprove, delete objectionable portions from and or prohibit the importation, exportation, production, copying, distribution, sale, lease, exhibit, or television broadcasts of the motion pictures, television programs, and publicity materials in the judgment of the board applying contemporary Filipino cultural value as a standard are objectionable for being immoral, indecent, contrary to law and or good customs, injurious to the prestige of the Republic of the Philippines or its people, or with a dangerous tendency to encourage the commission of violence or of a wrong or crime, such as but not limited to the second subparagraph 2, those which tend to undermine the faith and confidence of the people in their government and or duly constituted authorities. Subparagraph 6, those which are libelous or defamatory to the good name and reputation of any person, whether living or dead. So we have scheduled yes po, we scheduled a hearing under the Hearing and Adjudication Committee scheduled this Thursday po at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon.
December 7.
Linawin ko lang, Mr. Chair. So ano yung tinutukoy nating program dito? Kasi ang tinatanong ko kanina, yung gikan sa masa para sa masa. So ito yung black timer ninyo, si dating Presidente Marcos at saka si Pastor Kibuloy. Ay, sorry, dating Presidente Duterte
Ito nga yun eh.
at saka si Pastor Kibuloy. So, stand corrected, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So, ang sabi nyo kanina, nagkaroon kayo ng parang kumbaga preliminary. And you will have your hearing by?
For the gikan sa masa para sa masa po, we already had our preliminary conference. We already resolved that issue, ma'am. For the second issue po, which is the
Laban kasama ang bayan.
kasama ang bayan.
Ay, well, hindi ko tinatanong yun.
Okay, ma'am.
Yung gikan
So,
na lang tayo.
for the
Okay.
same, para sa
Ano yung,
masa,
so, can we have a copy of your
Resolution, ma'am.
resolution on that? Kasi, Mr. Chair, hindi lang nung October 11 sila nag-threat sa akin. Inulit pa yun eh. Sa isang program ng November. So napanood niyo rin po ba yung sumunod na threat din sa akin?
Ma'am, Your Honor, please, the decision, your resolution namin, it was based on the October 10.
Yeah, okay. Based on the
We have
October 10. So I'm
we have-
informing you, meron pa rin pong isang show, no, na tingin ko ay ano no, nag-threat ulit sa akin si former President Duterte. So kung titignan niyo yung mga show, review niyo yung mga show ni Duterte after po.
Yeah.
Teka, tingnan ko lang yung date no.
Just to
nakalimutan
clarify,
ko.
ma'am, this is not a replay of the old show, but a new show,
Yes.
a different show.
Yes,
And we have
po.
not yet received any complaint regarding that.
Attorney. Sir Chair, sandali. Anong date yun? November. Okay, so it is sometime, ito November po. Hindi ko lang nadala yung aking complaint.
Yes, ma'am. The October 10 issue or the incident regarding Gikan, was resolved by the MTRCB on November 9.
Okay, can you give us the the
We have
copy
a
of the
copy of that resolution here.
resolution? Okay. Sige
Thank you.
po.
Yes.
So ito na, Mr. Chair, sinasabi ko na lang dito, no? You have to review also yung program ng Gikan sa Masa para sa Masa na another threat din po sa akin. Nalimutan ko lang yung date. November 16 show. November 16 show po. Very recent yun. So, that's all, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I have a question before I would ask our Senior Deputy Speaker. NTC. Are there pending complaints against SMNI or Suarasu?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, Your Honor, there is a pending,
How many?
there's one administrative case pending before the NTC. And this this has already been docketed under NTC case number 2022-027, Your Honor. And the parties have been summoned on this one.
Where?
And there were several.
How many cases? Only one?
Isang
When you say
case lang, sir.
administrative, is there
This
any
is
other?
administrative case.
Only one?
Yes, yes, sir.
So there's no other cases? Isa lang?
So far, isa lang po.
Okay. So can you just submit that document to the, in the interest of time?
We will
Now,
comply, Your Honor.
Has SMNI or Suarasu been penalized by the commission for previous infractions in the past?
To my recollection, Mr. Chair, wala pa po.
You heard of the cases. You've been here from the beginning.
Yes,
Do you think
Mr.
there's an
Chair.
infraction of the franchise?
Well, in as much as basing on the discussions that have already that has progressed this afternoon, Mr. Chair, particularly on the with respect to section 4 of the RA on 11422, and in kind response to your query, Mr. Chair, the alleged acts seem to disregard the mandated responsibility to the public of the franchisee under its franchise 11422 regarding the dissemination of deliberately false information or willful representation to the detriment of the public interest. But nevertheless, Your Honor, since this is a Act 11422 is a franchise congressional act of Congress, the NTC defers to the wisdom of the Congress to determine such violations if indeed it establishes that there were violations on this particular provision.
But
Mr. Chair.
that's why my question was, is your answer to affirmative? That there were infractions
There appears to be infractions, Mr. Chair,
of
on certain
Section 4.
provisions of the franchise, particularly the reference provision on section 4 on the responsibility of the franchisee not to use the station or its facilities for the dissemination of willful or false information.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Chair.
much. Before I acknowledge the SDS, I think the Honorable Gutierrez only has one short question, manifestation or question. The Honorable Gutierrez, you are recognized, and the Senior Deputy Speaker Gonzalez next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In spirit of brevity, I will no longer question sections 4 and 7 as this were exhaustively and expertly handled by our colleagues earlier. Mr. Chair, just wanted to ask, building on the interpellation of Congressman Pimentel, so reportorial requirements, I believe only 2023, 22, 21, 20 were submitted. Do we not have 2019 GIS?
All were submitted, Mr. Chair.
All were submitted.
Do you have documents to prove that 2019 was
No. We can submit it, Mr. Chair,
Well, yun yung tanong nga po,
No.
no? So 2019 was not submitted.
because it was the franchise was approved August of 2019, and under the law annually. So 2019 to 2020.
So 2019, pero wala po kayong GIS ng 2019?
Ano?
May we
Yeah,
request
yeah,
for
yeah.
GIS ng 2019?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chair, may we ask, yung corporation sole that was mentioned earlier, what date was this incorporated?
I would like to ask the COMSEC, do you have to submit the 2019 considering that that's coming in from the old franchise which is granted by Congress? So 2019 should still be submitted, correct? Okay, we will check that record now. Thank you.
So the start of the year is 2020. From 2019 to 2020, we submit that reportorial requirement. We comply that reportorial requirement. Then 2020 to 21, another reportorial. 21 to 22, then 22 to 23.
Correct.
Mr.
So,
Chair,
yeah,
regardless.
I mean, it's still 2020, 21, 22, 23. But 2019 is the question. Because there should have been a submission of 2019 too.
2019 to 2020.
Mr. Chair, just GIS 2019.
No, 2020 is the calendar year of 2020, 21, 2018, 2017. Huwag nating So 2020, I'm talking of the operations of 2019. You should have submitted, that should have been submitted. It hasn't been
It
submitted.
was submitted, Mr. Chair.
Huh?
It
Yun
was
lang.
submitted already.
Okay, can you please show that? Thank you.
Well, in either case, we can further list it. So, Mr. Chair, going back to the question, yung date ng corporation sole natin.
Kailan to? 2020. Mr. Chair, we have here the certificate of filing and amended articles of incorporation. The date is January of 2023, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry? Mr. Chair, my question is what date na incorporate yung corporation sole? Yung executive pastor, etc. etc. Kailan po yun na-incorporate?
Your Honor, when we applied the new franchise in the year 2019, it's already corporation sold.
Yeah, may we know the exact date?
Yung nag-apply tayo, October? Can we bring
Can we
on the next?
Can we bring the document, Mr.
Okay.
Chair, in the next session if we may?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I guess wala silang data right now. So we'll be expecting the GIS of SSMC for 2019. And then siguro isama na po natin lahat ng GIS nung
Executive Pastor.
yes, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And then Mr. Chair, may we also move that we invite the SEC to our next hearings. Yun lamang po for now, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Don Gonzalez is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to our resource persons, my dear colleagues. Well, kanina pa po ako nakikinig, kanina ko pa tinitingnan tong figure na to. Yung ginastos ni Speaker is 4.3 million pesos. Tapos 35 million sa Congress and staff. Napakalaking discrepancy kasi nung 1.8 billion to 2 billion na narinig ko kay Rick. Kay Rick, ang tanong kanina ni ni Kong JJ, sabi mo, tiga saan ba yung source? Dalawang Congress yan, isang lower house at saka isang upper house. Definitely, hindi yan from lower house. Sabi niyo po, sa Senado siya, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
Pwede niyo bang sabihin kung tiga saan yung staff na yon? Sa technical staff po siya, staff po siya ng isang senador, o basta empleyado siya ng gobyerno na tiga Senado?
To satisfy po the minimum requirement of giving doon po sa nang sagot sa tanong ni Senior Deputy Speaker Gonzales, government employee po siya, nasa Senate, and upon consultation po sa ilang mga provision na tinitingnan ko dito sa batas that will cover the protection of the source of every journalist or reporter. Senior Deputy Speaker, sir, may I respectfully refer that I will refer to the Soto Law Protection or the Republic Act number 53. As I researched it from the internet, that there is an existing law that covers precisely and particularly the right of the source to be protected as covered in this kind of particular law na tinatawag po na Soto Law. So with due respect sa kay Senior Deputy Speaker at sa committee bang ito, Congressman Gonzales, sir, may I defer may answer na siya po ay hanggang doon lang empleyado po ito sa Senado currently.
Tama po kayo, Mr. Chairman, kay Eric. Pero regarding this Republic Act 6713, na the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, specifically Section 4, Paragraph C. So babasahin ko lang po on the record, Mr. Chairman, that the Code of Conduct and Ethics Standard for Public Officials and Employees, Section 4, that is C, justness and sincerity, public officials and employees shall remain true to the people at all times. They must act with justness and sincerity and shall not discriminate against anyone, especially the poor and the underprivileged. Mr. Chairman, they shall at all times respect the rights of others and shall refrain from doing acts contrary to the law, good morals, good customs, public policy, public order, public safety, and public interest. They shall not dispense or extend undue favor on account of their office to their relatives, whether by consanguinity in affinity, except with respect to appointments of such relatives to positions considered strictly confidential, or as members of the personal staff whose terms are coterminous with theirs, Mr. Chairman. So ito po yung aking ibig sabihin, Mr. Chairman, kay Eric, at alam na po natin yon, at this is unfair to our fellow citizen. Kaya itong Republic Act 6713 is a covenant between government employees and the people that we serve. After all, it is to them that we owe our office. If you do not tell us the identity of the source, the employee is deceiving the people he is serving. Kay Eric, hindi ba ang namesake ng inyong palabas ay para sa bayan? Tulungan niyo po kami. Tulungan natin ang bayan para malaman po ang katotohanan. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I briefly respond to that kind of assertion being prodded by the good Deputy Speaker?
Kailangan ko muna sagot. Sagot. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Tama po. I agree to that, sir. That is precisely Senior Deputy Leader, sir, Congressman Gonzales, Mr. Chairman. Congressman Suarez and the rest of the committee. Kaya po kami araw-araw ay naglalahad ng katotohanan tungkol sa existence of infiltration of the government by the real enemies of the state, pretending to be part of the government. I agree with that kind of provision on ethical conduct and professional conduct of government employees so that our government will be protected. But in this particular sense of the reference source that I am referring to, I think the more primordial interest of providing that information which had been verified today na hindi tumutugma sa katotohanan ng datos mula sa Kongreso is already established. And pangalawa, malinaw po na yung kanyang intent is to ask questions. So without malice on our part sa Laban Kasamang Bayan, we provided the question. And again, ulitin ko sa tanong kagina ni Congressman Suarez, do we take responsibility for that inadvertence and failure to conduct proper vetting of the source and the information? Yes po, ulitin namin yan. And if kailangan po ulitin dito sa komitibang ito, ang paghingi po ng pag-unawa, Congressman Gonzales, sir, at Mr. Chairman, tungkol dito sa pangyayari na yan na nasaktan ang integridad ni Speaker Martin Romualdez at ng institusyon ng Kongreso dahil sa ganitong pangyayari, I take full responsibility in behalf of the program anchor and in my personal capacity and even from the station to take responsibility that this is a hard lessons learned na pwedeng makuryente at mapasok tayo kapag hindi nagkaroon ng tinatawag na pag-observe ng due diligence, prudence, and propriety in the source verification. And I'm happy to note with that kind of assertion of the Senior Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, because this is a public interest. That's why I'm asking you po, Mr. Chairman, Eric, kung ito po, sagutin nyo lang po kung pwede. Ito ba Secretariat staff or Senate staff? Yun lang po, para at least alam po namin. Para at least ano na po ako.
Nasa Senate po siya.
Boss, pwedeng...
Okay,
Yes,
Pam JJ.
may dugtong lang ako. Earlier, you're emphasizing enemies of the state. And disinformation, destroying the very institution that we swore allegiance to protect and uphold, is an enemy of the state. Yung nagbigay sa iyo ng information, false, destroying the very integrity of the House of Representatives, is borderline enemy of the state. Kung susundan ko lang po yung prinsipyong ipinaglalaban ninyo, wala po akong nakikita ang pagkakamali. Kung babanggitin niyo po dito sa kapulungan ito, yung source ninyo. Kasi sa totoo lang po, co-produced yung programa. As much as you take responsibility, SMNI as a network has also big weight on their shoulders to carry with regards to the responsibility of what is aired. So I would just like to reiterate the request of SDS Don Gonzales on this issue.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
sige.
can I add something? Kasi medyo magulo na yung utak ko kasi Kongreso po to, no? In fact, isang Congress lang to, isang lower, isang upper. Sana yung source nanggaling po dito sa mababang kapulungan. Ang tanong po dito, ba't nanggaling pa doon sa Senate yung source? Kaya that is a big question mark to me and I think to my colleagues. Sana dito nanggaling eh. So parang naglalaro sa isip ko ngayon, parang ba't Senado pa galing yung source? Diba?
Actually, baka nga wala talagang source. Diba? So I mean, we can't validate, verify the statements made by Ka Eric if you're gonna be non-committal. And that's quite unfortunate. But if you will be more truthful and prudent with your answers, I guess we can determine the statements that you have issued, whether or not it has violated the franchise of SMNI, no?
Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you po.
ako, isa na lang po, isa na lang po.
So,
Ah,
sino?
Mr. Chairman, okay. Mr. Chairman, isa na lang po talaga. Pili ka lang po kayo sa dalawa. Secretariat staff of the Senate or Senate staff?
I already stipulated my position. The information will be limited to that, and I will stand on the provisions provided as a protection under the SOTO law.
Or, yes. So, thank you very much, SDS. Kasi baka
Thank you, Mr.
tama
Chairman.
nga siya,
Thank you.
sabi nga
Thank
ni
you.
Kong JJ, pwedeng lahat yun, pwedeng wala ron. So, maraming pwedeng mangyari kasi wala nga tayong pangalan. And I think if I understand Kong JJ, this does not end here because, in the absence of who, that leaves a very big question. And thank you for taking the cudgels. But like I said earlier, this is about the franchise of the network. This is not about you per se. That's why the question is, was there an infraction? If there's an infraction, what does Congress do? So dun ho tayo pupunta. And how I wish that makompleto po natin yung istorya kung itutuloy nyo yung, maybe if you would like an executive session on this, we're going to give an executive session on this because that will be very crucial sa magiging desisyon po ng Kongreso. Ngayon, kung wala naman po talaga, huwag na ho kayo magbanggit dahil, diba, wala namang, kasi baka magkakuryentehan na naman. Okay. So ako po nag-iingat din. And I'd like to again to make this clear because you have to understand that this is in aid of legislation and for future all applications. Because there are some lessons learned here for me and for my committee as far as franchises, how franchises should be given and approved by this committee. And definitely a decision will be after, I will have to confirm with my members. And we will call for another hearing tentatively next week. So please, I suggest, prepare those documents because if those documents are not yet here, then we will be going around again and uulit-ulitin lang natin itong hearing na to and we will have to come up with the decisions very pagkatapos sa po ng investigasyon, mag-decision na kami. Isubmit na po yung dokumento, nakikiusap po ako sa inyo na sa lahat ng hiningan, pati ho yung mga resource persons natin na iba, may mga dokumento, Attorney Rico Domingo, yung mga dokumento pong hiningi po sa inyo, paki-submit MTRCB, yung dokumento na hiningi po sa inyo, paki-submit po.
Maybe
Okay.
recognize, Your Honor.
Yes, Attorney Domingo.
I've been raising my hand because there's an invocation of Republic Act number 53
Which is,
as newsman's privilege, not to disclose the source of
Yes.
the, but there is an exception to that,
which is,
security of the state. I teach that in law school. So if you can relate that you should demand the disclosure of the identity of that person in the interests of the security of the state, then you can hold that person accountable for it.
thank you very much. And that's why you'll be invited again next hearing. Okay? Wala pa po tayong, hindi pa po tapos to. So you will get your notices. We're tentatively going to set this on Tuesday. Magsiguraduhin ko lang po na yung kwarto ho natin. Pero this is tentatively set on Tuesday. No? And before I end, we got a letter. I got a letter this morning from a certain Luis Birogo. Subject, letter complaint against Warma Sug Media Corporation
and Sunshine Media Network International, 4 pages. Here, 4 na pahina. And basically what he's cited his demand for the study of the franchise, and he requests that he also be invited in a committee hearing. So please include COMSEC, this person, in the committee hearing. His name is Luis Biraogo. Luis C. Biraogo. Okay? So please, here's his, this has been received by the committee. When did you receive? Today. It was received this morning. 11, maybe he found out that we have a hearing, so he came up with his letter. So,
Yes, Mr.
yes,
Chair.
thank you.
Can I just add lang something very important? I just came to realize an important point. Due to the revelations of Ka Eric, I think we are treading on very dangerous waters when it comes to interparliamentary relationships with the Senate. May I request that the transcripts of the said hearing be forwarded to the Senate for the Senate to respond? Because if this is true, and assuming that tama yung sinasabi ni Ka Eric, may naglalabas ng disinformation laban sa mababang kapulungan. At ang pinaghuhugutan pa nito ay yung kasamahan natin sa Kongreso na Senado. And I think those are very, very dangerous situation to find ourselves in. So I hope that we can take this seriously, because these are not simple accusations anymore. These are interparliamentary relations between the Senate and the House of Representatives. So if I can request that the transcript be forwarded to the Senate for the Senate to come up with their own response.
On the request of Deputy Majority Leader J.J. Suarez, I direct the COMSEC to submit the transcripts and if the request also for the video of this proceeding to the Senate President and to the Senate, the Office of Senate President, and the committee concerned. So there being no other interpreter in today's session, I'll see everyone next week. A notice will be sent. This any motion? The favorite motion?
Motion to suspend, Mr. Chair.
Adjourn. Adjourn and resume.
Suspend. Yes, suspend.
Mr. Chair, I move that we suspend our hearing and convene on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
There's a motion to suspend, duly seconded. Hearing is suspended. Proceed.
Sa'yo lang ako. Isa lang.
Ang dami nito.
Okay na.
Bahala ka sa iba.
Okay na. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Takbo na. Dami ko pang trabaho.